Have you ever looked at a glass of whiskey or brandy and just wondered, how? How do simple things like grain or fruit turn into something so complex, so full of character? Well, it might seem like magic, but it's a special kind of science called distillation. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this amazing process, all the way from the field to your glass. So, here's the plan for our journey. First, we'll get into the basic magic of separation. Then, we'll take a quick trip back in time. After that, we'll look at where a spirit's flavor really comes from. We'll also compare the two main tools of the trade, and we'll wrap it all up with a key takeaway that'll make you see that bottle on the shelf a little differently. All right, let's dive right in. Section 1, the magic of separation. So what in the world is distillation? Okay, so at its heart, distillation is really just about one thing, separating stuff. Think of it like this. Imagine you're making a soup, and you let it simmer on the stove for a long, long time. The water starts to evaporate, right? And what's left behind is a thicker, more concentrated, more flavorful soup. Well, distillation is kind of like that. Alcohol boils at a lower temperature than water does. So if you heat up a fermented liquid, like beer or wine, the alcohol turns into steam before the water does. You can capture that alcohol steam, cool it back down, and voila, you've got a much, much stronger liquid. That's the secret sauce right there. Now this idea, it's not new, not at all. In fact, people have been perfecting this craft for thousands of years, and it has shaped cultures all over the world. Let's take a quick look at that incredible journey. Way, way back, ancient civilizations were already playing around with basic ways to separate liquids. But things got really interesting in the Middle Ages, when alchemists started refining the process. They weren't just making spirits, they were searching for the elixir of life. Then, you fast forward to the 19th century, and boom, the invention of the column still completely changes the game. Suddenly, you could make spirits efficiently on a huge scale. And today, well, today it's this beautiful mix of high-tech science and really personal, local traditions. Okay, so before you can distill anything, you obviously need something to start with. And what you choose to begin with, it defines everything that comes after. This is really where the soul of the spirit comes from. And the variety of starting materials is just incredible. You've got grains like barley, corn, and rye that give us the whole world of whiskey. You've got fruits like grapes for brandy, or that unique blue agave plant for tequila, which create totally different flavors. And then there are other sources, right? Like potatoes for clean vodka, or sugarcane for the sweet, rich flavor of rum. The raw material isn't just an ingredient, it's the spirit's DNA. So, you've got your fermented liquid. It's packed with all this potential flavor. Now comes the biggest decision in the whole process. How are you going to distill it? Because the machine you use will shape the final drink just as much as the ingredients did. Let's just pause here for a second and think about this together. I'll give you a moment. If you have a liquid that's low in alcohol, like a beer, how could you use just heat to make it stronger and more pure? Go ahead and think on that. Okay, you got it? The answer, like we talked about earlier, is all about separating the alcohol from the water. Since they have different boiling points, heat is the perfect tool to pull them apart. You capture the good stuff, the spirit, and you leave most of the water behind. And this brings us to the two amazing inventions people came up with to solve this challenge. On one side, you have the pot still. It's traditional, it's almost like a sculpture. And on the other side, you have the column still. It looks industrial, and it's all about efficiency. They look totally different because they really do represent two completely different ways of thinking about making spirits. This little table here really breaks down the differences. The pot still is slow. It works one batch at a time. It's not very efficient, but, and this is so important, it keeps more of the original, heavy, complex flavors from the raw ingredients. Think of a rich single malt scotch. The column still, on the other hand, is a workhorse. It runs continuously and makes a very pure, much lighter tasting spirit. This is perfect for things like vodka or light rum. The only downside is that it can sometimes strip away some of those interesting flavors. So here's the crucial point, the main thing I want you to remember. The method you use for distillation isn't just some small technical detail. No way. It's a huge choice that the distiller makes to decide the flavor, the character, and the very soul of the spirit they're trying to create. And that brings us right to our final thought for today. We've seen how the still is the key connection between the farm and the glass. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Based on everything we've talked about, which method, the old school pot still or the modern column still, do you think creates more character in a spirit? There's no single right answer, and what you choose says a lot about what you look for in a drink. Thanks for joining me on this little journey.